Hi, and thank you for joining us for this episode of Springdale Today. I'm your host, Mary Jordan. Joining us today are Edison Enos and Rojien DeBrum, who serve as Marshallese liaisons for Springdale's approximately 3,300 Marshallese students. Springdale has one of the largest Marshallese populations in the country, with about 15,000 Marshallese living in Springdale, northwest Arkansas. The Marshall Islands even maintains a consulate general in Springdale, the only one of its kind in the continental United States. Thank you both for being here. I'm so excited for this conversation. I was just telling you guys how much I enjoy telling these stories, and I'm really looking forward to what we'll have to learn from you both today. So Edison, Rojien, I'm wondering, what can you tell us about your journey? What kind of brought you from the Marshall Islands to take a position as a liaison in our schools for our families?
Okay. Before getting this liaison job, I work at George Junior High. First, thank you so much for having us. It's a pleasure to be here. I didn't think that I was going to be, a translator or a parent liaison to do anything with the Marshallese community. But I actually got this job when I went to my little sister's freshman night game over at George Junior High when she was a ninth grader. And then I met up with our ESL coordinator, Tupper, and she was the one who actually connected me with my boss, Dr. Flanagan. And then we kind of just worked together, and I saw that there was a lot of Marshallese kids that goes to George Junior High, because we have a program over there for the the students that come there that don't speak English at all. So we have that program for them over there at our school. So I kind of just went from there. And yeah.
And you speak Marshallese then?
Yes, I do.
That's so cool. I wish I could speak two languages. I really do. It's admirable. Edison, what about you? What brought you to this position?
Well, first of all, thank you for having me here today.
Of course.
Before Springdale School, I worked for Tyson, and one of the duties that they had me do was translating. And I would have Marshallese women and men come to me at the in the office and ask me to help them. And that's where I found that I might have a calling to help Marshallese families, and that's when I started knowing that I have a calling to help the Marshallese families in the community.
A calling. So what does this mean to you personally?
To me personally, it just means a lot that I can be a bridge to the families and the students that I'm serving in the school system.
How about you, Rojien? What does it mean for you to be able to serve the students in this way?
I love helping people, and knowing that the students, specifically the Marshallese community and the students, knowing that they see somebody that looks like them working at a school, I feel like, it gives them, they're more comfortable, and knowing that they're comfortable coming and now asking questions, it's good. It feels good that, personally, I like helping people. It feels good that I'm helping them.
Do you find that your personal experiences within the Marshallese community kind of help shape how you work with students?
Yes.
How so?
Before, I work at Joe Junior High, so before that, they didn't have any liaison after the other one, and they were really struggling because there's a lot of Marshallese students that goes there, and then now seeing the difference, it's good to see, because they're more involved now with the school and anything that goes around the school.
And Edison, how about you? How have your personal experiences kind of shaped how you work with our families?
Well, when I first moved to America, I was 12, and back in the Marshall Island, I was third grade at 11 years old, and we were going to school to enroll me into fourth grade, and they told me that I was too old to be in the fourth grade. So I skipped all the way to seventh grade, and it was hard. And not knowing English and not understanding it was hard for me. And to me, as a personal experience, that inspire me to help those Marshallese kids that are new here, and they come here and they they struggle the same struggle that I went to with them, and so I could be able to tell them that, hey, you're not alone. You'll be all right. Just keep coming. There's people here that want to teach you, and they're here for you.
So language barriers, right?
Yes.
That's one. But what are some of the other challenges that are kind of common with our Marshallese students that you guys help them work through?
Um,
Um, Cultural adjustment,
How so?
like adapting to the new school environment and expectation.
And that was something I wanted to talk to you guys too. How do you explain that? Because there's certainly a different cultural nature to how someone learns in the Marshall Islands and how our school system here works in America. So how do you kind of help students navigate that? To learn like what the expectations are in an American classroom, or the importance of being to class on time, or how to get your teacher's attention and ask for help. How do you kind of help them work through some of those things?
Well, to me, Marshallese kids are like, they'll wait till you ask them if they need help, and so they're more of a one on one. They like to have one on one conversation, and they are also they like to see things and to like look at it, and before, instead of like instructional, they like to see um how to do it, and then they'll they'll get it.
we'll do it with you, yeah.
Well, then, Rojien, how do you help teachers understand those particular things about the Marshallese culture that are inherent for the students that they need to understand to kind of work with them and help them progress with the rest of the class?
Well, like what Mopson said, with the Marshallese kids, they won't ask for help. I think that's the struggle that most Marshallese kids goes through, or they have. They struggle to kind of communicate and just speak up for themselves to any teachers or anybody in the school because they're scared. They're too scared
Right.
to even just go out there and ask for help if they need it. Same goes for our parents as well. Um, to teachers, I think they got to be a little patient with our families, because here it's not our language. It's not their first English. English is not their first language. So just be patient with our families and our students. They will get there eventually, but just a little, step by step. Just be patient.
Right. I mean, I speak English, and it's the only language I speak, and sometimes I can really do that in a straight line. So I can definitely appreciate that. Today, we are chatting with Marshallese liaisons, Edison Enos and Rojien DeBrum, who are sharing with us a little bit about how they support our Marshallese families within our school district. Can you share any stories with me of experiences you had where you helped a family feel a little bit more at home within the district? Any examples you might be able to share with us?
There was a student. She was going through some stuff and struggling. She was an 8th grader. She wasn't really into, connecting with the school or being with the school because in her mind, she thought that, nobody really cared, and mom really reached out to the school and tried to ask for help. We tried, and it took like only a year, and it was a whole transition. It was like a whole switch from being somebody who didn't really care about school, didn't really see the school as a home, because school is like your second home away from home to the students. She didn't really feel that way, but it took her a year for us to help her out, and she switched into a whole different person. She got involved with the school. She was the school's president. She was the volleyball captain, and she was also the Islander Club over there. She was the president for the Islander Club. So she even mentioned it herself. The school, it was a home for her because of the people and the way they were helping her navigate and just find herself.
That's really cool that you're able to be there for her. Edison, can you think of any times where you've had a student that you helped feel a little bit more welcomed and supported by the district or their school?
There's so many stories to tell, but I'll share about the resources that the school have for the families. Those have been really helping families that are struggling, and uh, I just say that, like, just having the resources that are available for kids, like the FITS program that help students who parent didn't know that there can be uh, transportation that are available for them from, like, let's say if they're living at a hotel, and there's a program where they can learn about um not learning, but that they could there's resources for apartments that are available for the family. There was a student that I would take to school, and from school, and they were living in a hotel. Parents didn't really have a ride, and also, like, with the help of the social workers, there was um there was a transportation that was set up for them until they were able to get out of the hotel, and now they're living in a nice apartment. And just having, like, that extra support help them to get back on their feet. I think that would be a good story to, like, just tell you guys.
Yeah. Well, and that's kind of the district talks about supporting the whole child. And that sounds kind of what you're talking about. It's not just about the education, it's making sure that they have the ability to get to school, they have the clothes they need, they have the food in their stomach they need to learn,
Yeah.
they have access to health care. Those are things, as I understand it, the district can help secure for families or connect for families. And I'm really glad that you guys are there to hold that role. But how do you help build trust within families? If Marshallese families are hesitant to ask for help, how do you build trust so that they will ask for the things that they need?
For me, I go to their house, home visits, show them that you care about their kids, and have them see that oh, I can trust you. You're coming, oh, you took the time from work to come over to my house. Just home visits, go to them,
Yeah.
let them know that you are you are there to serve their kids and serve them. That's your job working at the school. And that's basically what I if they don't come to the school, it's all good. I'll come to your house. Just home visits.
What about you,
Yes.
Edison?
That's same thing as her. I do that. I go and do on visit, and I just communicate with the parents, and I build a relationship with the kid, and the kid trusts me, the parents trust me.
Right. And so, probably even if they're not comfortable going to another adult at school, they
Mhm.
may be comfortable talking to you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, because parents, they're not going to come to the office because, that's the thing with our Marshallese parents. If they don't know the language, they're not coming into the office unless they see somebody that looks like them. Then they might come in, but you just got to go to them first to build that trust with between you and the parent of the students.
Are there any particular programs or initiatives that you'd want to make families aware of that they can really benefit from?
Yes, we have a parent teacher meeting that we do at my school. We do it every month. And then it's just basically for the teachers and our admins and parents to come together once a month and just talk about any problems that they have. So we would just ask them questions and then tell them to bring any question that they want to talk about or they're curious about. So we have our parent teacher um, program that we have at our school. I think that's one thing for the parents to know. They need to know that we have that program for them because technically it's for them. We're just there to listen to any questions that they have and maybe just work with them and then work with them and be able to help their students.
The questions, are they limited to class or could they be like whole child support, like we were talking about earlier? Is
The
there
whole, yes, the whole child support, just ways for us to be able to help you and help your kids.
So if families were interested in taking advantage of something like that, how would they reach out and get in touch with you?
We post about it on our social medias. Come to the school. They're so welcome to come to our school to ask questions. No.
Or volunteer?
Yes, or volunteer. That's a good one.
Edison, what about you? Are there any programs or initiatives that you'd really want to get out there and make families aware of that they can benefit from?
Yes, we have an initiative called Marshallese Youth Initiative that was coordinated by Springdale School and the Chamber of Commerce, and it's just a combination of kids from J.L. Kelly and Sonora Middle School, and so the teachers pick the kids, and what these kids go to is field trips of like going to visit businesses, the local businesses, and places that are that could kind of like open their eyes to what the future has for them.
And it's pretty cool. So we have local businesses that are opening up their doors
Yes.
to allow our students to kind of come in and explore and maybe see what their potential is.
Yes, ma'am.
It's kind of cool. I'm glad you guys are taking time to do that. I mean, it's in addition to what you're doing in class. When you talk about home visits, families, they're not 9 to 5. Mom and dad's usually home after hours, right? So we really appreciate you guys showing up for our families. So what challenges do you feel still need to be addressed for the Marshallese community in our schools? What kind of things could we be doing to show up for them as a district?
What kind of challenges? I think the biggest one has to be transportation.
Transportation.
Yes.
Right.
I think that's the biggest one, because I don't know about your school, Edison, but my school, my kids, they struggle with transportation, struggle with, trying to get a ride to get to school. And it's true. There may be like 3 families living in like a household, like 3 different families living in one household, but they all don't have, all 3 rides. I think that's the biggest problem and challenge that we have at our school.
Okay, so it's really important that families communicate if that's a need so that we can
Yes.
help get their kids there. I know that schools too, our schools are the only place some families eat, kids eat. So that's another factor for getting them there. What about you, Edison? Is there anything outside of transportation that you think that we as a district could really be looking at to see how we might better serve our families?
Just like back to language barriers, I really think that what needs to communicate out there needs to be accurate and right, and be checked by one of the Marshallese liaisons, so that what could go out there, the parents could really understand. And yeah, I think that's one of the biggest.
I agree,
Challenge.
especially because we don't really have the ability to translate Marshallese like we do, like say Spanish or French.
Yes.
Right.
To go with his, I think there's this thing going on Google. What is it? Is it the translation? And there's this Marshallese translation on there. I think we don't need to use that to anything that goes to our to any Marshallese in the translation. I think the Google Translator for Marshallese, it doesn't work. It's not accurate, So one of any liaisons that work in the district, or anybody that works in the district, please don't use it, because it's not accurate to our families. Whenever it goes out, it's not right, So it's not the same as, whenever we put on Spanish translator, it's accurate. But Marshallese, I think that's the biggest challenge that we're facing right now, getting stuff from that translator app.
Yeah, I guess it doesn't do us much good to get information out.
No,
It's
it does
not
not.
accurate. So I imagine we could recommend that if schools or anybody needs help with translation, they reach out to the ESL office, perhaps?
Reach out to your liaison. They are there for a reason. They are there to work. We're there to serve you. I think that's the biggest one. Reach out to your liaisons. If they're not available, they should be available for you. That's our job. That's what we're there to do. Or the ESL office if we're not available to do so.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
My other thought on challenges that we face here in Springdale is like accessing the resources. Like kids, do they know where they can go to tutors to get their grades up? Like, does the parents know that? Does the parents know where they can take their kids to get tutors and get helps and stuff like that? I wrote that on my notes, and
How do we
like
get that
extra
information to them?
counseling. Um, I didn't know as a parent that there's counseling program for the kids when they're at school in terms of their behaviors, and until I started working at the school. And so we want to make sure that these resources are out there to the parents, and that they know that their kids are in a safe environment.
Thank you guys for making sure that our families are as formed as we can on that. And we'll do our best, I know, as a communications office to kind of help get the word out there however we can. We're getting ready to kind of wind things up, and I'm wondering, what do you guys hope for the future of our Marshallese students in the years to come?
I hope that they study hard and they get more involved within the school. It's always great to see, let's say a sport. It's full of Marshallese kids. Makes my heart so happy. Getting involved with the school, whatever it is, clubs, join that club, study hard, because your teachers are also doing their part in teaching you. So you take your part and, learning from your teachers, listen to your teachers, study hard, try your best. You will be somebody in the future. You are capable.
What about you, Edison?
I'm hoping to see a lot of doctors and lawyers and teachers and kids that are going to become somebody, and they're growing up to make the environment better.
Yeah, and hopefully they'll stay here in Northwest Arkansas,
Yes.
where we can see them flourish and do all those incredible things. We've talked about a lot, and you guys have definitely made me smarter about things. Is there anything you guys want to be sure to share today that I didn't consider as a part of this conversation? Well, good. I'm glad that we had a fruitful conversation. And I hope that we get to talk to you guys more in the future, and that you'll keep us informed about what's happening in our schools and with our families.
Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you. Thank you both for being here. Thank you for joining us for this episode of Springdale Today. You can catch this and previous episodes of Springdale Today on YouTube, Facebook, or Instagram, and listen to the podcast on iTunes, Spotify, or your favorite podcast app. Thank you for joining us for this conversation, and we look forward to seeing you next time. Springdale Today.
Springdale Today is a production of the Springdale Public Schools Communications Office.
The podcast is hosted by Mary Jordan and is produced and edited by Micah DeLacy.
Be sure to subscribe to Springdale Today for free on your favorite podcast platform.
And don't forget to follow Springdale Today on social media for episode updates
And behind-the-scenes conversations.
Thank you for listening. We hope you will join us in the future as we continue to learn about the amazing stories happening in Springdale today.